Hello. So, true story. I got a refill on coffee, because as entrepreneurs, that's one of the things we drink. I also drink tea. I like tea too. But coffee. I had a brand new notebook, and I was working with a client, and set the coffee down just now, and totally, you know, didn't completely dump it, but got close. So, so much excitement over here. Um, so this is segment 3, part 2. Um, and I am so excited you're here if you are watching the replay. Um, yeah, so today is we are celebrating Global Entrepreneurship Week with the Entrepreneur Hotline, which means there is someone or something happening on these channels 24/7, through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So that is what we're doing. We're celebrating entrepreneurs. We are saving space, creating space to support them in their wondrous journey towards creating something they love and they are excited about. Your hosts are myself, Gail, and Colin, Scotland, and Lori Webb. And that is who's hanging out with you for the week. If you're joining, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. So today is, what are we doing today? Today is ecosystems. I know this. So today is ecosystems, and part of my ecosystem, a really important part of my ecosystem, is co-working and being a part of co-working spaces and working with people who enjoy co-working, who are, or if you don't know what it is yet, are willing to try it out and see what it all means. Um, So, yeah, so that's what this whole segment is going to be about. I'm going to go through and do a couple things really quick to kick this off, and then we will jump into the discussion. Yeah. All right. So, ecosystems in the frame of co-working. I'm probably going to have to sneeze. FYI. Okay. Ecosystems and co-working. So, co-working, if you aren't sure what it is when people come together and decide that they're going to work together. And it isn't necessarily that they're working on the same thing. They don't have to be in the same company. They don't even necessarily have to know each other. I mean, I think it's helpful if you know each other. But there are a couple of ways that you can experience co-working. So one of the ways is virtual co-working, which I do a lot of. My dear friend Jenna Moyer and I, we co-work on the regular. I also co-work on the regular with Monique Johnson, who was on yesterday. And I co-work with Coach Jenny, who will be on tomorrow. And a plethora of other incredible people who I am so excited are a part of my ecosystem. So that is virtual co-working. Usually for us, virtual co-working is hanging out in a Zoom room together, which Lori did a whole sequence on earlier on how to use Zoom. It's a free platform up to a point. And yeah, so we use Zoom rooms to co-work together. Generally, when we're doing co-working, my style of co-working is more like not hanging out, like it's not, we just don't do structure. So there is a really cool method of time management called the Pomodoro method, or POMS for short, that are generally 25-minute increments. I usually do them in about 20-minute increments, and then you take a break. And I'm hoping my video, there we go, haha. The fuzz was freaking me out. Okay, so POMing. So co-working can be done a couple of ways virtually. You can do it without structure. You can do it with structure with the POMs. If you look up Pomodoro or the tomato timer, there's a Pomodoro app. There's lots of apps, but it's a great way to break up an hour. And the idea with POMing is that you focus on one task, something that will take up the 20 minutes or the 25 minutes. And that is what you do for that section. And then you take a break, maybe you talk to each other, and then you go on to the next POM. And usually what people will do is have a set time period. So they're going to POM for, say, 90 minutes. And then it's just set up in between. So that is one way of co-working. So it's virtual co-working, structure, non-structure, with POMs, no POMs, however best you work. And knowing how best you work goes back to some things I talked about in the previous live stream. So that is one option. So let's talk real life co-working. And there's a debate running around about this in real life phrase versus virtual phrase. But I have lived my life and my work life virtually for so long. It is really important in my brain to distinguish between the two, and it's not derogatory between either. It's just that it's in person. I'm starting to say in person. I'm trying to say that as much as possible. So in person, where I have to like get in my car and drive somewhere. So there are co-working spaces. I recently heard from someone, I'm not going to remember who it was, that I'm the only person they know who uses the word co-work as a noun. So there is a co-work locally in my small town in Western Pennsylvania. And I call it the co-work. Like, I don't say the co-working space. And I am starting to notice that there are other people say co-working, like they go into their co-working space, not to their co-work. So I don't know. It's a me thing. So to each his own, however you'd like to say it. But co-working spaces generally are an opportunity to work in an office type or office feel space, usually at a desk. I have a daydream of having a co-work with like beanbags and non-structured seating elements, like with some structure, but also, hey, you don't like sitting in a chair? No problem, we got you. And that's kind of that's the way my brain works of how I would like to see co-working spaces set up. The standardized classroom office feel It just makes me crazy. Um, so my kids come by, honestly. Um, yeah, so co-working. So co-working in person. It every co-work every co-working space has its own feel, its own unique brand. They're owned by real people. The ones that are owned as conglomerates or franchises or as larger things where, let's say they start a co-work in New York and it does so well, someone moves to LA and they want to take the same thing to LA. Um, it I think it's really hard to take a co-working space that worked in New York, because what works in New York for that community isn't necessarily going to be exactly the same in LA. And that's branding, that's community feel, that's how they hire, who they hire. And I truly, truly believe that a co-working space that is going to succeed and do well and truly support and make space for the people who join the co-work are ones that take their community very seriously, that understand what the community around them needs, so filling a need, because it isn't enough to just buy an office space and throw some desks in it and then say, oh, well, we have a co-work. Well, no, you have a space with desks. The co-work and the co-working space works because of who's showing up and who's there, just like in every other aspect of our businesses. So whether you're an entrepreneur or a small business, wherever you are, you know that if you don't show up and talk to your clients and be there and do things and create community and be the community, be the leader of it, then it isn't going to work. Now, the reason I bring this up is that if you haven't heard of WeWork, WeWork just gloriously went belly up and in a balls of fire kind of way, which do not have enough information to even begin to speculate on any of it. However, one of the things that I mentioned just now previously is that if you lose sight of that each geographic, each region, each community is different, and they each need something different, and their needs need to be met in a different way, then it isn't going to work. So I think my call out for people who own co-working spaces is that it can't be cookie cutter. It needs to support what the community needs, what the people need. And if you aren't listening to that, then it isn't going to work long term, and it won't scale. It won't be as successful maybe as you want it to be. On the flip side of that, so that's coming from the owner perspective to some degree, and having co-managed one for a couple of years now, and getting to be involved in a number of different co-works locally. That those have been my observations. From a participant side, coming into a co-work, how you get onboarded should show you or give you an idea or a feel of how the co-work is going to be once you're in it. If the onboarding, and by onboarding I mean when you sign up, if it feels really hands-off and automation without communication, then that might be how the co-work is. And it just depends on what your goals are for joining the co-working space. If you know that you need a space where you can work without anyone talking to you from 8 in the morning to 5 p.m. at night so that you can get all your stuff done, and that's how you want to work, have at it. There's co-working spaces for you. And then there's the other realm of things, which I'm not in the I want to talk to everyone all the time mode. I definitely am in the I need to I usually tend to work in 2 to 3 hour blocks. And with, palms in there. And if I'm working at home, then it's, I get up and I take a break. And then when I take a break, I go do something. So in a co-working space, what I'm looking for is a place that I can get out of my house, basically, and go work somewhere else with other people who are just as ambitious as I am, who are working as hard as I am, and will understand that when I'm in the co-work, there's times to be social and there are times to work. And that the social stuff is built in. And one of the co-works that I'm a part of that does a really incredible job is Radius Co-work. And Radius Co-work is in Erie, Pennsylvania, and which is up near Lake Erie, like right on the lake. And it's a really cool community. There's they have a really wicked Slack channel. And I am not ashamed to say that I'm pretty much a part of the co-work so that I can be in the Slack channel. That's how amazing I think it is. And that's how amazing the leader of the co-work is. His name is Sean, and he's done an incredible job of creating and curating a community that that people just want to be a part of. And I think those are signs of a really great co-work. So that one is like an hour and a half away from me. And then there's one in I'm trying to remember where it is. So there's a couple running around. I encourage you to look near yourself and see where there is a co-work. Oftentimes they will have different levels of membership, and the different levels of membership offer different amounts of access, different amounts of support, probably. Some of them will have more of an office feel, where there will be, you'll have like copy stuff and like phone stuff and like things that you might need as like a business. And then, like in Sean's co-work for social things, there's potluck days and lunch and learn hours, and there's a lot going on up there. So think about when you're trying to decide what kind of co-work you want, or what kind of co-work you want to be a part of or join, is that looking for some place that's going to meet your goals, which of course means you have to identify your goals first. So identifying your goal of joining a co-working space would be thing number one. And then looking around for places that can potentially meet that goal. And I encourage you to be selfish with that goal. If you truly want to be somewhere where there's social things going on, if you know that you can work really well at home, but you just need to get out of the house, I encourage you to go do that and find a co-work that will support that for you. And then if you, on the flip side, want a place where you can just go and work and no one's going to talk to you, then there's places for that too. And I think there's probably, I have to imagine that there are people who are part of multiple co-working spaces who meet those different needs. I'm one of them. So I have a membership to a couple different co-works just for that reason. And because sometimes I just need a place in between Pittsburgh and my house to be able to stop. And for me, that co-work is Catalyst Co-working in Gibsonia. And then there's co-works that I just like following their Facebook page because they're fun, and they're doing really neat things. I've started seeing co-work spaces that have they're starting to offer childcare, which it just makes my heart happy that they're offering this. I think it's the one I'm thinking of is in I'm pretty sure it's in Pennsylvania, and I'm fairly certain that it is. We're going to go on a little tour. We'll do a Facebook tour. One moment, please. Okay. I'm getting this pulled up. Just needed 1 second. Okay, it is called The Candy Factory. And let's see. They have a group, which is awesome. Hold on. One moment. Yeah, Lancaster. They are in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And let's go pull up. I know you can't see my screen, so just hold on one second. I'm working on cleaning things up. Because, when you share your screen, the whole world can see everything. Okay. Let's see what we got. All right. So this is the website for the Candy Factory, which is a co-working space in Lancaster. I am not a member of this community. Lancaster is really far away for me, but they have Jelly Belly's childcare, which is just, I'm so ecstatic about the fact that they have this. So the Jelly Belly's childcare gives people who have kids at home, small children, an opportunity to be part of a co-work, be in the co-work and work. And I think it's a real testament to where we're going with how people work, with how people engage in the workplace. We have so many more remote workers. Many of them they have families. They're both, they're different genders, all the things. And so the needs that co-working spaces are working to fill, I think are a really, really cool sign of where we're going, and hopefully where we continue to go, where there is an acceptance of, it working in an office with a bunch of people in one office isn't always the best for everyone, and that it's okay to offer different options. So I love that companies are doing that. Since we have our sharing up, let's take a look at Radius Cowork. So Radius Cowork, again, is in Erie. And I should be tagging these pages. Inclusive coworks. So Radius, like I said, is in Erie. It's a really neat space. They do college tours and high school tours. So I've been up there a couple times where they've had high school students coming through and VOTEC students coming through that are looking for that have an opportunity then to talk with people who are in the co-work. It's like a career day, smorgasbord, because there's all these different people in a co-work that do so many different things, which is pretty amazing. So that is Radius, and this is like a wicked cool video. I haven't seen the video yet. So Sean, good job on the video. So those are things the Erie Co-work offers. And like I said, I'm a part of the co-work in Erie. I'm a part of Radius just to just to be in the Slack channel, essentially. Some days I get to go up, but not usually. See if that pulls. I don't think it's actually going to pull Radius. Okay, so this is if you're looking for different types of co-works, that's a link for Radius Co-work. This is a link for the Candy Factory. And so those are ones I've mentioned. So I would encourage you to find one locally that meets your needs, and figure out what your goal is. Step one, figure out what your goal is, and then look for a space that meets that goal. And if you're really, really lucky, you will get a one size fits all. If not, like a one size fits everything you need. When I say one size fits all, it fits everything you need and meets all of your goals, but it doesn't have to. So a la carte is good too. Oftentimes they'll have different levels of membership. I know I mentioned that already. That'll give you a chance to be parts of different communities without spending everything you're making. So I totally understand that if you are just starting out, you're in your first year of business, second year, third year, and you haven't quite gotten to where you want to be, and it's really hard to think about spending money on something like this, just think of it as most coworks are a really incredible supportive space, and they have built-in community, a built-in ecosystem, and will provide something that you just won't get, in my opinion, anywhere else. There are really good online curated communities. I've been in really great ones. I've been in really awful ones. That are like, Facebook groups, and there's lots of really good options online for connecting online as well. But again, when you enter into a space, when you enter into a community, how you feel in those first steps of entry are really indicative of what the interior community will be like. And so if there's like high touch, they've paid attention, they're aware of details, and you feel like a VIP the whole way through, chances are the community is going to be pretty good. I'm not going to give you a guarantee, obviously, but those are things to look for when you are looking at communities. So I'm going to call this wrapped on talking about different co-working opportunities and things you can do to do that. I really appreciate that you have hung out and watched the video. I'm going to throw up the Ask Your Questions banner and get reset. So until I see you again, I hope you have a wonderful day.